and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey! Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded, where we cover all of the top weekly sports stories going on in the world today. I am your host, Eric, with my main man right over there. Ron, how are you tonight?
I'm doing okay. Just think that there's something in my mug because I'm like throwing up all the wrong graphics and everything already.
Goodness. I got a little nervous because I thought you'd be on like either a massive sugar high from Halloween or, Ron, that you were going to get arrested for lighting all the jack-o'-lanterns on the street when there was a warning. If you haven't seen Going On Daily, check that whole thing out. But
yeah, I did light a jack-o'-lantern, Eric. I couldn't
you
help
did.
myself.
You are just, you're just a rule breaker, man. That's what you do. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, this is what happens in the aftermath of just horrendous hockey play.
Which we will definitely talk about tonight. Again, if you are joining us live, please join the chat. Let us know if there's anything you want to talk about or if you have a particular opinion on the topics we are covering tonight. We'd love to hear from you. As well as we want to thank everybody, WDJY 99.1 FM in Dallas, Georgia, every Saturday night. You guys have been amazing. SEC TV, Public Access Channel 12, every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Again, another big supporter of ours. We appreciate you. As well as you can join us live anytime on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. We're on all social media platforms. So like, share, and follow the show. Tell your friends about it because I'm going to guarantee you they are going to enjoy the best sports podcast on the planet. If you'd like some Sports Unfolded merchandise as well, check out Patreon at RhodeIslandBroadcasting. Mugs, mouse pads, pens, pins, stickers. There's so much you could purchase with the Sports Unfolded logo. Look at that fine mug. It is amazing. It is amazing. So, Ron, I guess we should start the show off. What do you think? Are you ready? You ready to talk some sports?
I mean, I think that's why I came here.
All right. So, again, if you're joining us live, please chime in. Our leadoff story is the Los Angeles Dodgers. They have won the World Series. Thoughts on how the series went and how they actually won the series?
First of all, I'm stunned that the Yankees laid down for them. I mean, it was.
I'm going to let you go first because I've got a lot to say.
I mean, I'm stunned that it didn't go further, for one thing. But the Dodgers took care of business. They went in there. They played well. I mean,
so I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to disagree with you on this aspect. I don't think the Dodgers beat the Yankees. I think the Yankees beat the Yankees. Again, when you look at as a team, again, all your big stars, your big players didn't hit. Judge batted 222 in the series with one home run.
Well, that's what I was saying about laying down.
Yeah, Rizzo batted 125. Gleyber Torres 143. Again, even the pitching, New York outpitched the Dodgers. They had better statistics, except when they needed to make a big pitch, they couldn't. Game 5 in the errors in the 5th inning, which basically brought the Dodgers back. One of the biggest, I think it was the biggest collapse in World Series history.
What was the score at that point?
It was 5-0 when everything just fell apart. So again, thank you, Yankees. Again, Aaron Boone and some of the decisions he made, especially game 1, I think the Yankees from that point on really couldn't get out of their own way. You bring in Nestor Cortez, who hadn't pitched in 37 days in a bases-loaded situation. So just the decision-making from the manager, the lack of production from the star of this team. Listen, Soto played well. Soto batted over 300, had some key hits. And again, here we go with the end of it. is Soto even going to be back with the Yankees? You know, this is where this team needed to win this year, because I don't feel like you're going to get the same team next season. And it was so crucial. Aaron Boone has to be fired. I think that's an automatic. And then I would really start to question Aaron Judge in the list of Yankee greats. When we're talking Yankee greats, in the postseason, Ron, in 58 games, he's batting .205.
Yeah, it's not going to get it done.
And that's the guy you count on more than anybody else. So I don't see how the Yankees can even do this. Listen, Garrett Cole, for all the negative publicity he's had during the season, wasn't a big game pitcher, pitched over 100 pitches in game 5. I thought he pitched well. Listen, they kept the inning alive when he clearly would have had, you know, not given up 5 runs. And then on top of it, when you see a reliever who pitches 10 straight balls, 10 straight, walks 2 batters in a row, and you keep them in. What was I just don't understand how the Dodgers won this series. When people say the Dodgers won this series, if somebody could tell me how, I'd love to hear it. If you're on the chat right now, tell me, because they didn't outbat him. Shohei Ohtani ended up with that injury, really wasn't a factor in it. Max Muncy struck out 10 times, who was one of their best hitters throughout the rest of the postseason. Mookie Betts didn't bat over 300. Like, nobody beat them. Nobody outpitched them.
No, but they did what they had to do when they had to do it. And that is what you ultimately want. This is why when I do those lists on pick and roll and starting 5, I go for championships, because of that point where those players make it happen at that moment. The biggest moment that you have is in the championship games. And that's when I want to see something happen. I don't care if somebody's batting .320 all year long. If you can't do it in the postseason, then what good are you? It doesn't matter. You're not a big-time player if you can't get it done when it counts. And this is why when you go back in history and you see those guys with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 championships, those are the guys I'm going to pick over them. Doesn't matter. And this is why you got to give a little respect to a guy like a Robert Horry, right? And I think I was too hard on him when we did that segment.
There's some guys that just that Homer Simpson meme where you see him just fade into the bushes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what Aaron Judge to me is in the postseason. Listen, he's out front, one of the best players during the regular season. And the best comparison I can make, and I was doing it all day today with people I was talking to, is Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, if you asked me today, regular season, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, I'm taking Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning can win a football game without a doubt, except in the postseason. When you needed him to step up the most, he couldn't.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing the same thing with Aaron Judge. It's literally watching a guy fold in crucial situations where he's had, in this series alone, 2 guys on. Like, you need the big hit, pop up, strikeout.
I'll give you a really great comparison, Eric. How about Ted Williams and David Ortiz? Isn't Ted Williams a better baseball player? Yeah. But,
statistically, yes.
But who are you taking in the playoffs? I'm taking David Ortiz because he's done it. He came up big when he needed to, and he constantly did that. Ted Williams, what did he win? Nothing. And that's just, that's the frustration part. And a lot of the frustration I'm venting right now is because I didn't want either team to win.
Oh, and I get that. But look, at the end of the day, yes, as a Yankee fan, I didn't think they would win this series regardless. I think they got 2 easier opponents that they faced. And I didn't try the Royals and the Guardians didn't impress me. Like, I wasn't like, holy cow. But then when I looked at what they did in the actual series, It's mind-boggling. It
Yeah.
blows my mind that a guy who hadn't pitched in 37 days is your best option with bases loaded. And let me
That was
ask
a
you this,
terrible
Ron.
call. I'm sorry. Terrible call.
We did a split decision last week where I asked you who is more likely to hit a home run in the postseason, Anthony Rizzo or Freddie Freeman, and you picked Freeman.
Yeah.
And then he hit 6 straight, or whatever, 5 straight games. My point would be is after the first one, do you not start to look at maybe we don't pitch to this guy, or the second one, or the third one? Why are we continuing to pitch to this guy? So again, from a managerial standpoint, from your ace, your
Aaron
star
Boone's
player,
terrible. He's always been terrible as a manager.
agreed.
Look, I would have thought that they would have fired him a couple of years ago.
And now I'm looking at it. Do they say, oh, well, he made it to the series, they keep him? And if you can't look at what happened in this series and say he got outmanaged because Dave Roberts seemed to make the right call or right decisions at the right time, and certain guys just stepped up when they had a chance.
Well, Dave Roberts is a clutch guy, too.
All right, give it a rest with the damn.
I had to throw it in there. I had to throw it in there.
Bro. Nobody remembers it.
You got to put the salt on the wound.
We're the Red Sox now. Okay, thank you very much.
They suck.
All right, so let's leave that at that. Okay, squirrel finds a nut every so often, though. All right.
Well,
so I'm going to ask you this before we move on and talk about some other topics.
They didn't have any nuts.
Hey, who's more likely to get back next season? Because the Dodgers obviously going to have some changes as well.
The Dodgers.
Okay. But if you look at the National League,
big changes are coming for the Yankees.
But let me ask you this. If you look at the competition in the American League versus the National League, to me, the National League is a much stronger, you know what I mean, division or conference or whatever they call
love our streams, Eric.
I love it. Grow your community. Thank you. Right? So if you look at the Mets, who seem like they figured some things out and obviously are willing to spend money, the Padres, who have been one of those thorns in the side of the Dodgers during the regular season, and it was a tough series. Like, that's where I start to look at it. The Braves, if you think about it, after the injuries really kind of derailed their season. If not, the Braves are always. Whereas the Yankees, who's their competition in the American League?
Yeah.
And even though, like, again, I sit back and I go, they may make it again just based on the fact that the American League isn't strong right now. But that goes to prove when you face a quality opponent in the World Series, you fail.
Well, they're going to have 2 big question marks in this offseason.
Soto alone.
2 big ones.
Soto's the biggest one, but
I'm not sure because Garrett Cole could opt out.
Yeah.
So if he opts out,
you have no.
That is a massive hole. Losing Cole.
I agree.
I don't know.
I agree.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah, you lose Cole, you lose Soto. I mean, that changes, a lot.
Yeah. So
Rizzo's been done
right,
for
though,
years.
when you look at the American League, I mean, you got
Baltimore,
Baltimore,
who in the postseason even when they're listen, the last 2 years they've been really good in the regular season.
Yeah, and then they can't do anything in the playoffs.
So I just don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, it almost feels like the Yankees could go back, and I prefer they don't, because I feel like you're never going to get enough change if they're like, oh, well, at least we're making it to the World Series.
Yeah, at
least I got asked to the prom, right?
So good. I don't think that they're so good that they're probably going to be in the top. They have to win their division.
Were you the prom king, Ron, when you were in? I feel like you would have been a prom king. Oh,
I didn't even go to the prom.
I almost said queen, by the way, but you're the prom queen. Hey, buddy. Huh?
Hey, whatever it takes.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. The determination and the fortitude that you display each and every part of your life is amazing. That's why, Ron, we keep doing this show. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, with all kidding aside, I just think that I don't see the Yankees going back.
I'm not saying I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying when you look at the competition,
I know the competition.
I feel like the Dodgers will have a much tougher road if they're going to go back.
Of course, they're going to have a tougher road.
But again, now you're also hearing Soto to LA.
Oh, if that happens,
there's a strong.
I just won't watch any games.
But again, if you think about it too, why is Ohtani's contract allowed to be what it was? And we've talked about that in the past. Like this is where baseball has to change something, because these teams, even if we're talking about the Yankees, the Dodgers, they're going to be in it again because they spend the most money.
Yeah, and it's not going to count towards the salary cap because they're all going to do funny things now.
And then the Padres
you don't think
every year.
The Yankees are going to do that?
They should. They're gonna. I mean, think about the property tax or whatever. You know what I mean? The income tax in New York.
Yeah.
Ohtani knows what he's doing. He's going to move to Florida once he's done and get the whole thing for nothing. Not taxed a dime on it. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, Ron. Great Major League Baseball. Let's congratulate the Los Angeles Dodgers on their eighth.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
Eighth championship, though, too. And I really thought they had more.
Yeah.
When you look at it, you're like, 8? What does Boston have? 7? I think it's 7 now, right? If Boston has 7, you would think the Dodgers had a lot more than Boston, and they're right in the same. Like, it blows my mind.
Well, when you look at things, it feels sort of like they win when the Dodgers win because it's usually all former Red Sox players over there.
Oh, man. Including the manager. Very good. Go ahead. Throw it in again. Yeah, salt to the wound. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Let's talk some NFL. Again, if you're out there live.
He takes bases easily. You know?
If you're out there live, join the chat. Let us know what you think. Did the Dodgers beat the Yankees or the Yankees beat themselves? Love to hear from you. And let us know what you think. All right. Some NFL talk. Ron, this is an interesting story. So Anthony Richardson, he benched himself. If anybody doesn't know, he's the Indianapolis Colts starting quarterback, or was their starting quarterback. Do you think the move was the right move for his career?
I think it was just absolutely ridiculous. I wouldn't want him on my football team because he's a quitter. What you want from your leader, your quarterback, is a guy that's going to go out there and persevere through all of the difficult times. And for you to just quit on your team, who the hell wants a quitter? Like, we talk about Aaron Rodgers, right? At least Aaron Rodgers and say, "Oh, I quit. I can't handle it."
We got to
this
talk
guy
about this stuff.
Is a crybaby that doesn't even belong in the NFL now.
Bro, I'm tapping myself. I'm not doing the podcast. I'm tired. This is by far one of the dumbest things an athlete could have done.
Yeah.
Because I love the way you said it, right? It's not even about what the Colts think of you. It's even if the Colts like, you know what, let's move on from this guy. What team's going to look at him and say, you know what, he's committed. He's willing to go through the tough times and get through a game. I just don't understand the mindset and what this kid was thinking when he did it. I mean, his career, obviously, he hasn't done much anyway, but he's averaging 44.4% completion percentage this season. Like, you should not be quitting right now. The fact that they're letting
you talk about this guy during the draft.
We did.
And we said we couldn't believe that they drafted him because
he barely started. I think he started 1 year at Florida. It was like he hasn't really played football. So he was like so raw when he came into the league. And then you sit back and you go, okay, I'm throwing 44%. I'm 3-3 on the season. I got 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I shouldn't even be starting right now. And what I'm going to do is tap out and say, you know what? I'm tired. Bro, I'm going to give you the best advice. If they're willing to let you play, you play because he's already had injuries. He missed most of last season with an injury. He's missed some of this season with injuries. And then when you're finally able to play, you're quitting. I don't listen. I'm glad if I lost this Christmas card because he'd probably quit writing all the cards out anyway.
Yeah, honestly, it's hurting my hand too much.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired of writing. I'm just going to quit. I don't know how he doesn't expect backlash. I don't know how he doesn't expect this to look from a standpoint of, what team now would literally try to pick him up and say, you know what, this kid is going to be okay. We can change. It blows my mind. And it's a shame because, again, he was one of those young kids that a lot of people had some hope to see, if he could become something. I think he blew it. I think
the Colts put a lot of investment into this kid, and I gotta think that they're a little upset. I wouldn't be surprised if the team seeks a termination of his contract.
I heard he's on the trade.
You gotta look into it.
I heard he's on the trade block already. I heard there's a team interested, which would still blow my mind. I just don't see what the benefit is of picking this kid up from any standpoint.
There is no benefit. If you're a team that has no quarterback, getting this kid doesn't put you in a better situation, because if he quit in Indianapolis that has some pieces, what is he going to do to a team? Like if he goes to like a Carolina or something like that, they have no pieces. Yeah. Do you think he's going to want to play? No.
So I was going to ask you this question, Ron. What do you think his teammates think?
His teammates have no respect for him. None. When you quit on a team, for whatever reason it is, doesn't even matter what reason it is. Even if you stink, you don't quit on your team. You got to be in it with them.
If he was smart, he would have went, I feel a little dinged, or, something feels a little tight. Don't say you're tired. He literally said afterwards he was tired. Like, who does that? Who does
nobody.
that?
Nobody.
Oh, boy.
And the fact that you're 3-3.
Yeah, listen, he's 5-5 in his career, Ron. He's only played 4 other games last season. New England. 7, yeah, he scored 3 touchdowns and 1 interception before his injury last year. Like, I don't get it. I don't know. Anyway, good luck to him. Anthony Richardson, I don't see where this, you lost your job to Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is going to be taking over for the Colts. Okay. Good luck, buddy. All right.
Well, no, he didn't lose his job. He gave him the job.
Oh, yeah, he quit, and good call.
There is a difference.
Games of interest for Week 9, Ron. So Week 9 here in the NFL, we always talk about our games of interest. There's not a lot this week. I was a little this is a light schedule. I have 3. I have 3 games that people should watch. 2 of which we're going to do on our predictions. So,
personally, I think the schedule stinks this week.
This is a bad week.
Like, I'm looking at even the games of interest. They're not really interesting. It's mild interest. Mild interest.
Games of mild interest.
There isn't any game that I'm saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to watch that game.
There's one I think is a good game, or could be a good game. And that's a Lions at Packers. Just because it's in Green Bay, and in Green Bay sometimes listen, anytime a division game, even when you think a team, listen, New England, even during those glory years, couldn't beat Miami in Miami. Just couldn't do it. Right? So because it was a division game, that's where I think that one might be an interesting one, because the Lions right now look like they're on a path to, they just put up a 50 spot. You're like, okay, this team's unbeatable. Like they figured out everything out. And now I'm like, in Green Bay, division game, you never know. So I would say that one's probably the most interesting.
I mean, there's always Tampa Bay and Kansas City, and hope that Kansas City
Yeah.
loses.
Yeah, and I thought the same thing, but then I'm like, Tampa Bay is not that good. Like,
Well,
I still don't.
they're down there 2 receivers.
Yeah, so I don't know. I also had Broncos at Ravens. Broncos, believe it or not, 5-3 on the season. The Ravens just coming off a loss to the Browns. So you sit back and go, okay, maybe there's a shot here. The Broncos
Do
have a
you
very
want to
good
watch
defense.
that game?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I agree. I
Okay,
don't think I would be.
that's the games of interest. That is not a game of
All right.
interest,
What
right?
about the Rams at the Seahawks? I had
I
that.
have the Rams and Seahawks again. Rams are 3-4. Seahawks are what, 4-4?
I think so, or 3-4 too. I think they run to 500 now
4-3,
too.
whatever it is. It's one game separates from first to last, right? Everybody's 4-4 except for the Rams, who are 3-4.
Arizona leads that division right now.
I know.
Crazy, dude.
So
Yes,
in essence, this is a big game
you're not going.
because
What about Pats at
the
Titans?
Rams could take the lead.
Pats at Titans? No, you're not interested.
What? We're back to the Jacoby Brissett era.
I don't know now. They're saying Drake May might play. They think he might be
let's
ready.
get him killed, right? That
Might
makes
be ready.
sense.
Poor kid. Come on. Got to take a hit. It happens. Did you hear, before we move on, Ron, the Aaron Rodgers post-game interview after last night's Thursday night game? You'll appreciate this because I know you're a huge Aaron Rodgers supporter.
Oh my God, come on.
So they asked him about the game, and he said, listen, the first half, they weren't playing well. And he said, you know what? In the second half, I was perfect. And that's what we need for us to win. When we talk about egos, I think he's gone to another level. The fact that he feels he was perfect and needs to be perfect for the Jets to win doesn't resonate with me, because can you not see it's a team sport and you need people to block, you need people to catch, you need people to tackle, you need people to create turnovers. The fact that it's all about Aaron Rodgers blows my mind. And not only have you destroyed the New York Jets, which again makes so many people happy, including me, but I just don't get where this guy, if there was, I would put, and I talked about this at work today too, I would put Patrick Mahomes ahead of him, because in the postseason, where we just talked about, Patrick Mahomes gets it done. Aaron Rodgers has won one Super Bowl. I don't care about your numbers, dude. Your numbers are nothing when it comes to, you have one ring. You've done absolutely nothing in New York other than get hurt and now set expectations so high that no matter what happens, you're never going to live up to it. And then you have the audacity to still put yourself ahead of that team. He has not been Aaron Rodgers since he's joined New York. And you're sitting here, I got to be you should just shut your mouth and think you have Garrett Wilson, who makes a highlight catch in the end zone, because otherwise that pass was trash.
Yeah. No, he's
Aaron Rodgers.
He's unbearable.
It's a piece of garbage.
And it's, and to win last night, what does it mean? It means nothing. It really means nothing. They're not going to go anywhere because they still have to beat the good teams. Yeah, I know they beat Houston, but
and Houston's not the same
Houston
as last
sleeping.
year. Yeah, Houston's not the same team as last year. Even with the talent, they just lost Diggs. CJ Stroud is not as good as he was last year. So I just look at it, to your point. You got to still play Buffalo. They still got a couple tough games. You can't afford to lose basically maybe one or two more games to even have a shot. Yeah. And I don't think that happens. Piece of garbage. All right, Ron, let's move on from the NFL. We're going to talk some free throws.
You got to wonder about Love, right? Is he like a
Like love.
jackass?
Oh, I thought you meant like people like us, like being in love. Okay. Jordan Love.
Yeah. Because I think about their quarterbacks. The last couple have been not so good, as in people. Just saying.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I wouldn't look Jordan Love into that. I mean, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers fan clubs. Yeah. Let's not do that to the poor kid until we find out something. But interesting. All right, Ron. We are into our free throws.
I'm hoping the Green Bay Packers win this week.
Yeah. Let's explain free throws. Basically, we've got to shoot 4 free throws, and hopefully there's some people out there and tell us if we made our free throws. So we decided to do something a little different. Instead of giving each other teams, we're going to name 4 teams, but our top 4 franchises all time.
Oops.
Hey.
That's not what I wanted to do.
So you are first this week, Ron. No, I am first this week.
No.
You are first this week. You are first this week. So your number 4, your free throw, top franchises and why of all time.
All right. So, first of all, I have to come with the disclaimer. Do not hate that I'm putting this team number 4. Don't hate. I'm putting it's laughable. It's hard to get out, right? I'm putting the 1990s.
Oh, you did.
Chicago
I did a franchise as a whole. Like a total the franchise. You're doing it as just an era like that.
Oh, see, I got
so that's okay. Well, we'll
all
go.
Right. So why don't you go first and let me think?
All right, you're gonna hate my first one, but I looked at 2 things. A, how many championships, and I kept it all American sports, by the way. How many championships and the next closest. So at number 4, I had to go, even though recently they're not very good. The Montreal Canadiens with 24 titles. The next closest is Detroit with 11. So they're 13 titles ahead of the next closest. So the Montreal Canadiens, and a lot of it was 60s, 70s. We had talked about that before. Not as big now, but again, 24 titles, very impressive. So I put the Montreal Canadiens at number 4 as one of the top franchises of all time. 24 titles, baby.
Yeah, there's no excuse for them to be number 4.
You would put them higher?
Yeah, you have to put them higher.
Okay. All right, so let's go with my number 3. And I actually took the New England Patriots out of this because I looked at it and I said the next closest is still they're tied with Pittsburgh. So I went the Los Angeles Lakers with 17 titles. Next closest is the Golden State Warriors with 7. So they are 10 ahead of the next closest. And the Warriors just recently, the Lakers consistently throughout, right? The 80s. Yeah, you had some of the 90s, Kobe's teams. So I went with the Los Angeles Lakers at number 3. Am I still going? You want me to go again?
I don't know how you want to do this.
Okay.
I mean,
all right, I'll do mine. I'll do mine and then you do yours because you did it a little different than mine.
Because so now you're shooting clanks off the backboard.
Get out of here. At 2, I went to Boston Celtics, who just won their 18th title, ahead of, now passing the Lakers. And again, Golden State, the next closest. So they're 11 titles more than the next closest. And the Boston Celtics, if you think about, again, 60s, what they win, 11 straight, something ridiculous. And then you had the 80s and now the last couple in the last few years. But at number 1, even with their loss, The New York Yankees with 27 titles. The next closest team is the St. Louis Cardinals with 11. 16 ahead of the next closest. They dominated in the 90s, obviously the early years with the Bambino and them guys and DiMaggio and all that. Yogi has 11 titles just to himself. Yogi Berra has the same amount as the next closest team in the St. Louis Cardinals. So I went to New York Yankees as the top franchise of all time, even with the loss. So that's how I did mine, which I think I got at least 3 or 4. 3 or 4.
You got 2.
3 or 4, but all right. Who, the Canadians?
You have the Canadians too low, and somebody being above them is wrong just because of that.
Okay.
Now, what I will give you is number 4. It should be the Lakers.
Okay.
Based on, the history, they seem to always be relevant. They're always relevant until they got, that other guy.
Although he won one with them as well. So
He did win one with them, but that wasn't really a true season. So you won in a bubble.
Okay.
Who cares?
All right.
Half the league wasn't playing. So number 4, I have the Lakers, with all the greats that have played on this team and spreading out their championships throughout history too, always makes them a relevant team that can always do something. Right?
And they got the top 2 point scorers of all time, right? Because Kareem and then LeBron passed them, who's a Laker.
And Kobe is in there in the mix too. So I have the Lakers at number 4. Number 3, I have the Boston Celtics, and it pains me to put them there, but they are, in fact, only 1 championship ahead. So, winning it twice in like the last, 30 years, it doesn't.
But that's why the Canadians
took a little lot of that luster off.
And that's why I said the Canadians, I took a knock too because of that.
Yeah, I'm not ready to.
Because they are probably one of the worst franchises right now in the NHL.
Yeah, they do right now. But
although you're right, though, Boston had that 90s spurt where they were just really bad. So, yeah.
So then after the Celtics, I really don't want to talk about these teams. Number 2, I have Montreal Canadiens. They basically own the NHL except for the last couple of decades. Even were relevant with Carey Price, but since he's been gone, this team has been just awful. But all those championships and the dynasties in the early half of their franchise, especially when you're talking about Rocket Richard and Maurice, all of those guys, Guy Lafleur, all of those guys throughout history, with Ken Dryden in net. I mean, you're talking lots of history with great Hall of Fame players. And I had to put them at number 2. And number 1, I had to put the Yankees because of the amount of championships. And like you said, they are up a ton over the next team.
16.
But since 2000 hasn't been very successful.
No.
So you're talking a couple of decades now. They're not looking so hot this century.
Yeah, only one. So I am curious, just your list. So you had the 96 Bulls, but you went like that. So who was 3?
So, well, if I did it the way I thought we were doing it, my 4th team would have been the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
From the 90s, 8 postseasons, 6 finals championships.
Yeah.
They had a 747 win percentage.
Isn't that ridiculous?
That is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
It is not the highest percentage, though. Number 3, I had the Tom Brady Patriots. 763 win percentage.
The good old
17
days.
postseasons,
Good old days, Tommy.
9 Super Bowl appearances, and 6 championships.
9.
That's not so shabby, right?
Yeah.
Number
on.
2, I had the Mickey Mantle Yogi Berra Yankees, 1947 to 64. They had a 624 win percentage, 15 World Series appearances,
It's insane.
10 championships.
Isn't that nuts?
That's it's incredible. Incredible. But it did not beat 1956 to 1969 Boston Celtics at the number 1 spot. 705 win percentage, 13 postseasons, so 5 more than those Bulls. 12 finals appearances. 11 championships.
They lost once. Dude, that
They
is
lost
absolutely
once out of
insane.
those 12.
Isn't that crazy? That
is
team was so
insane.
dominant.
And so
So
those are my
dominant.
4 dynasties.
I like it. No, I like
in
how
that
you did it too. That was pretty good. I like that. Ron, before we move on to some NBA, we do want to first off congratulate our new inductees into the Hall of Fame. So John McEnroe and Patrick Roy, right?
No. What?
No, who was it? I forgot.
It was Julius Erving.
Julius Erving. I forget, dude. There's so many.
That wasn't even close. Not even
I
the same sport.
Come on, they look the same.
They look the same. Dr. J and Patrick Roy look the same.
So close. John McEnroe and Julius Erving, congratulations on being inducted into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. You're obviously on our board there. You will be on the website as well coming up this week. But what that means, Ron, is now we have some new nominees to the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. And those nominees for the Major League Baseball, Reggie Jackson, Dave Parker, Dave Winfield, Ken Griffey Sr., and Roberto Clemente. So some outstanding ball players there. That the poll will be open later today. And did you want to put up the racing as well? So we have some racing. So in auto racing, Darrell Waltrip, AJ Foyt, Bobby Rahal, Elaine Prost, and Terry Labonte. So again, some fantastic auto races. They will be up as well later today. So you will be able to cast your votes. Again, all of our Sports Unfolded Hall of Famers have been decided by you, the fan. So you get to pick and decide who gets into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. So cast your votes. Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page on Facebook. We don't
have a driver in yet, Eric.
Yes, we do. We have 3 of them.
Oh, we do.
Oh, see, we're both on this. Whatever's in our cups and bottles, I think it's either that or too much sugar, Ron. Maybe we had too much sugar for Halloween, and our brains are a little foggy.
I blame it on the Bruins.
Yeah. So let's talk some NBA, my friend. Lonzo Ball suffered another injury. Do you think it's time for him to hang it up? Lonzo Ball.
It's funny that you asked if he should hang it up.
You know, can you take anything?
Just because you don't have any balls to say it.
Hey, here it is, 27-year-old Lonzo Ball. Do you realize he only played in 3 games since 2022?
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, he's been out for the last 2 years.
Since 2 years?
Yeah. And now he's injured his wrist, and he'll probably miss a couple weeks again. And his injury was his knee. So his left knee, he's had several surgeries. There was a lot of issues with it. Coming out of college and UCLA and there was some real hype behind him.
Yeah.
But then I also wanted to look at in his career since he's been drafted, His high is 63 games in 2019. He has not played more than 63 games in any season. I just don't know the longevity now at this point. Why are teams going to continue to put this guy on a roster if he's not going to be able to play?
Well, they put Zion in all the time too.
I still think Zion's played again, still more than this guy. And at least Zion, when Zion does play, he is elite. Lonzo Ball
well, what about what's his face there?
What's his face? I like that guy. He's pretty.
Oh my God, we just talked about him. I think last week or the week before. He was already in last week. Now I got to look at my notes. I can't think of his name. I don't have my notes.
In basketball?
Yes.
I don't remember. But
I just said that he was hurt again. I can't think of who it is. If you're out there, let me know.
What team? Do you remember the team? Do you remember anything about it? All right, no more sugar for us. So, would you take a shot at Lonzo Ball? He's a free agent next year, let's just say. Are you looking at this guy and saying, hey, look, he can contribute to my team?
Yeah, he can hold the towels.
If we start waving it.
Yeah.
ML Carr style.
Oh, wait. That could be how he hurt his wrist.
He might. I just don't. You know the funny thing, when he came out and his brother as well, like, you know, with the hype with his dad, and now you don't hear about it anymore. Like, you don't hear about his dad.
Between the two balls.
You good? You all right? You want to take a minute?
Oh, you had the two balls.
What was his dad's name?
His dad in the middle.
Do you remember his dad's name? I don't even remember now.
What?
His dad's name. That's how long ago it seems like these guys were relevant.
Is it Richard?
It was not. Smarty pants. 63 games. I guess we're going to move on because this is starting to turn a little ugly.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing that we talk about all the time. These guys are always injured. Why are you going to invest in them? Well, they have talent, but what good is the talent if you can't get onto the court?
Yeah, and I don't like him in particular. Like, it just seems like.
Sorry, I would invest in Double P rather than Ball.
Hey, let's go, Peyton Pritchard. There we go. All right. Let's talk some Major League Baseball. I know we covered the World Series, but the Los Angeles Angels made a trade and got Jorge.
Rangers? What?
Huh?
Angels?
Los Angeles Angels have made a trade, picked up Jorge Soler. Do you think he's going to be a piece to them getting back on track and becoming a winning franchise again?
Is this team ever going to get back on track?
No.
I mean, they had Ohtani and Trout. They couldn't get on track.
Yeah.
What makes you think by getting Soler is going to put this team back on track when they had Trout and Ohtani? And so I'm
going to ask you this question. So he got traded from the San Francisco Giants to the Braves. He only hit 9 home runs after the trade. But then I looked at it and I went back and I said, since 2019, when he had his biggest season, he hit 48 home runs and 117 RBIs. He hasn't had a season where he's hit over 30 home runs. So that's, 6 years? Almost 6 years. And no 100 RBI season. So I don't understand this guy in the appeal that teams seem to think that he's still a power hitter or he can contribute. He's a 243 lifetime batter who can't hit more than 30 home runs, who hasn't driven in over 100 runs. And then you're going to have Mike Trout, who's going to miss 75% of the season. So, there was a lot of talk that this was a big deal.
In the lineup for those 25% of the season.
Maybe then he hits all his home runs. There we go.
Could be.
Poor Angels. Have they fallen?
And on top of that, they gave up an arm.
Think about this, Ron. You just said this. Ohtani just was in the World Series. They couldn't build a team strong enough to get. Listen, look at what the Dodgers. The first year they got him, World Series. First year.
I think there's going to be a trend.
They put too much eggs in the bat. They wanted the guy to pitch, hit, Just let him hit. Look at what he did. He got them to the World Series. Although they said he's going to pitch next season. That's what the Dodgers say. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know, my friend. All right.
I just think the Angels just don't know what they're doing.
Agreed.
I mean,
they
look,
haven't been able to build it.
If you have an arm that good, why are you trading him away?
Yeah. For a guy that clearly is not that good.
I mean, he's not awful. He got 21 home runs last season, so you
could bring a kid up from AAA and get 21 home runs.
Well, they can ask for Bobby Dahlbeck.
Why do you always got to crap on your team? Poor Red Sox. They do nothing but love you.
They don't love me.
They love you.
They do not. Stop your lying.
They love you more than the Bruins. All right. Ron, it is time for split decisions.
No, they don't.
All right, our split decision segment. Basically, we ask each other two more likely questions, and we got to make a decision. You are first, Ron. So your first split decision.
Okay, so let me see. Let's go with both Garrett Cole and Blake Snell can opt out of their contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Who is more likely to stay with their current team without opting out? Garrett Cole is 34.
Yeah.
Blake Snell is 32.
I would go Snell.
If that matters.
And I would go Snell only because think about how long it took him to sign. And I'm sure he's a little nervous about that. I think he thought in his mind that when he became a free agent, everybody was going to throw money at him. And it didn't happen. And he ended up signing a lower deal than I think ever expected. But now I would be afraid to put myself back out there to see what happens. Year older, didn't perform that great. So I would sit back. Whereas Cole coming off a World Series, I'm sure there's going to be some people interested in Cole. So I would say Snell would stay because of what happened last offseason and the fact that he didn't sign till the regular season. So I think he might be a little timid about, putting himself back out there.
Good call.
So, all right. My first split decision. Which player, Ron, is more likely to finish the season as the NBA points per game leader? Nikolai Jokic, who is at 31.5 points per game to start the season, or Tyrese Maxey, who's at 31.5%, 31.5 points per game. You don't think the talent in Denver, though, takes away a little bit of his points, whereas Maxey is not going to have Paul George because he's always hurt, and Embiid, who's always hurt.
Yeah,
Maxey's
but they'll come
be
back
the guy.
and then they'll just automatically feed them the ball, and that'll take a big chunk out of his.
But how long are they going to be back?
Doesn't matter. Even if they're back for like a month, it's going to take a big chunk out of his average.
All right. Okay.
While Joker is on to get his no matter what.
Okay. All right. I see where you went there. All right. So your second split decision.
So I went basketball as well. Both the Cleveland Cavs and OKC are undefeated as of this moment. Mm-hmm. Who will stay undefeated longer?
Cavs or Thunder?
Who is more likely to stay undefeated longer, Cleveland or OKC? And you notice how both of my split decisions were only two choices this week.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna more likely to go. I still think the Cavs are overachieving, so I'm gonna go OKC.
OKC plays Denver tonight.
But you got SGA. Holmgren has been playing phenomenal basketball.
How about that kid?
Yeah, he can't. Right,
Maybe
he missed
getting
that whole
hurt
year.
was the best thing for him.
Gave him some time to put some meat on the bones. Meat on the bones, my friend.
Yeah.
No, so I'm
He's
going
no longer
OKC.
looking like Sean Bradley.
Hey, see. All right, Ron. Good one though. All right, Ron. My second split decision. Which 4-4 team is more likely to make the playoffs in the NFC? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the San Francisco 49ers, or the Seattle Seahawks? I think currently all
I'm
three
going
are
to
out.
say San Francisco.
Yes, everybody's still right. You still think they should be better than they are.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like they're playing like garbage and they're still 4-4.
And they
You
get
know,
McCaffrey back.
right. So they did that with, injuries to, McCaffrey, Ayuk, and Debo. Now, if they get these guys back, I
Well,
mean,
Ayuk then I get.
well, no, but I'm just saying, if they get some pieces back
Yeah.
in that lineup, like McCaffrey especially, that's going to change a lot of things.
Yeah. Oh, good call. Good call. I have an extra one. Can I just ask you,
Yeah, go ahead, you and your extras.
Ron, who is more likely to get fired first?
Oh God,
Jim Montgomery or Aaron Boone?
Jim Montgomery.
It's coming, bro. It's coming.
I expected it to happen today, to be honest with you. To be perfectly honest, I expected it today. I had to shut the game off last night. I couldn't even watch it. My stomach couldn't take it. And I don't think I've ever had that happen before. But
It's like watching
after
the
watching
Patriots,
them
man.
play last night in a must-win situation against a good team, they weren't even in the game.
I see, and I can feel. See, that's why I like the Pats. I never used to miss a game, and now I'll tape them and I'll watch it later. You guys like Sunday?
I couldn't watch this later. I couldn't watch it at the
No, but I'm
time.
just
Never
saying, you
mind.
guys were texting me, and like I'm trying to avoid the tech. I just want to, because I'll watch it, but it wasn't as important anymore. Like I don't care if I miss, like 1 o'clock. I gotta be. So I could see that with the Bruins right now. Could see that with the Bruins, which brings us to some NHL, Ron. We're going to talk some NHL. Connor McDavid will miss 2 to 3 weeks. How will this affect the Edmonton Oilers season? Or will it?
The season?
Yeah.
I mean, it'll affect the next couple of weeks, but I don't know about the season.
You know why I wanted to ask this question? Because I wanted to ask you how you felt. You lose a gut-wrenching Game 7. You're trying to build momentum. You're trying to show that, I don't know where the graphics went, but you're trying to show that you can get back, and now your key piece is out. So hangover from last season, now an injury to your star player. Could this affect them mentally going forward, where they may not be able to get out of this because they're 5-5?
Year?
Huh? Because of
Did it
last year.
year?
Yeah.
He was out last year.
Yeah, but they didn't make
it.
But they made the cup.
The thing. Nobody realizes that this is a common thing with Connor McDavid. He's not putting in full seasons anymore. The wheels on the bus aren't going around and around as much anymore.
The wheels on the bus go. Oh, sorry.
I mean, it's nothing major or anything like that, but
yeah, what, ankle?
I mean, now it's like you could count on him being out for at least 3 weeks every year now. And it didn't hurt them last year.
Yeah, but again, they weren't coming off a Stanley Cup Finals. So I think,
no, they weren't.
Right? So I'm saying is sometimes when you get to the championship and then you lose, you're looking for all the momentum you can have to try to get back. It's not easy to get to anyway.
It didn't stop Florida.
Good call. No, good call. Very good call. 5-1 in the Pacific right now. But it's really tight. I think they're 4 games out of first, 4 points out of first. So
yeah, like there's a lot of teams that are floundering around, and Colorado's another one, right? I mean, you have the Bruins, to say the least, right? You have a lot of teams that are supposed to be good, and they're not playing very well. They're not playing good hockey right now. And, it's like I had this conversation with the kid from Falls Count Anywhere. How, oh well, if they can make a trade, by the deadline, they'll get right back into it, blah blah blah. No. I mean, your timetable is Thanksgiving. If you're out of it by Thanksgiving, you're not coming back. It's very rare. The only team to really do it is St. Louis. But if you're out of it at Thanksgiving, forget it. The season's over.
Yeah, somebody was talking about that. Like even with the Bruins.
Now there's a little more urgency for some of these teams, and some of them are starting to get that. The memo hasn't crossed the Bruins locker room, unfortunately.
So I'm gonna assume, and you know what they say when you assume, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume that you haven't heard the Jim Montgomery comments after the game.
No, I did not hear. I stayed away from Bruins news.
So he says normally they start off pretty fast, take a good lead in the season. One of the top teams are always in the top of the division. This year's just a little bit different, but they lost in the postseason. They didn't like the results of the postseason the last couple of years. Thinking about it, they started fast, had these early leads in the division and then lost in the postseason. So his thought process is if they stink early and then they work towards it, they'll have more success in the postseason. Thoughts? I will sit back and listen.
My thought is that should get you fired. That should get you fired. That's absurd. That's absurd.
Slow.
It's like you're saying, okay, we're just going to sit back and we're going to cruise into the playoffs and then try then.
You build up.
How stupid is this?
You build it up, Ron. You got to take your time.
Build it up. You have to know what you have. And I don't think he's quite aware of that right now because he's got this thing that they can just turn it on when they want to turn it on.
Ron, listen, I think he's right though. Because think about this. When you're with a beautiful woman, you're going to make love to this woman. And you don't just stop right at that, right? You got to go, you take it, you ask her out, you go on a date, take her to dinner, right? Maybe there's a little, whatever. And then some foreplay. And then that's what he's doing. He's building it up. So you get to the point where, you know what? Now you score. He's saying they scored too early. Like they went right for the gusto. And then afterwards, the girl's disappointed because she's saying they're not that good. You weren't that good. Sorry. I don't want to go now to dinner with you. He's saying, see, he's doing the opposite. How smart is he? Jim Montgomery, genius. He's working his way up. He's building it. The anticipation. They're going to get to the postseason, Ron, and they're going to nail it. A lot of sexual innuendos going on right now. But Ray, like,
it's only from you.
But that's what he's saying.
The basketball segment.
Yeah, right. But that's what he's saying. He's saying, hey, you know what? Let's start slow. Build it up. Impress the girl. Give her flowers. Send her some chocolates, a nice card, right? Take her to dinner. And then you get to that point where bang, all right, it's happening. That's what they haven't done. They were like, we're going right for that. We're just, hey, let's go. We're going. We're hitting the bedroom. It didn't work. They ran out of steam. Jim Montgomery. Genius. Man's a genius. He is so getting fired. It's going to happen. I can't see how long this takes, though. Like, what do you think the Bruins are waiting for?
Let's figure out who's going to be the next head coach.
It's getting ugly. It's getting ugly in Boston. Quick.
It is.
Quick, my friend.
Because this team shouldn't be this bad. I'd be all for Claude Julien to come back.
How old's Claude Julien? The guy's got to be up there.
I don't know, but he could fix the defense for sure.
He's been up there for a while.
Like, you have all this talent on defense, and you're not using it the way it should be used. I'm sorry. Like, how are they getting bullied? How are they getting bullied by guys that are like
He's only
5 feet
64.
6 inches?
Claude Julian's only 64.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, bring him in.
Come
Let's
on.
bring him in.
That's crazy. I really
Bring
thought
him
he was
back.
older than that.
He won a Stanley Cup with the Bruins.
He did, but he hasn't coached since 2021. It's a long time to be out, man. 3 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Some of the players are very familiar with Claude Julien, Brad Marchand.
I get it, but you think, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. They got to do something. They got to do something.
They have to do something.
And they got to do it fast
No.
because
It's either that or a trade. I mean, you got two options. If
And I
you
think-
blame the players, you do a trade. If you blame the coach, you
fire him.
fire the coach.
Yeah. It's gonna be an interesting week because I think you're right. It probably happens this week.
Nobody helped out Swayman last night. No one. It was
How much of that
brutal.
though do you blame to the fact that he wasn't there during the preseason, during training camp?
I
Do
don't
you
know
blame
what
the
it is.
Bruins for saying maybe if they had brought him in earlier, he would have been.
It wouldn't affect the players. It wouldn't affect the players.
But I'm saying, do you think it's affecting him as well, though, Swayman? Because he's doing okay.
Because it wasn't like you're looking at those goals. He didn't have a chance. There was nobody there. Nobody was picking up the guy coming in late. Nobody was pushing anybody out in front of the net. They were camped in front of the net the whole game. And he made some great saves, just like Korpisalo did the other night.
So who's the guy? Zadorov? Is that the guy?
Yeah.
That you told me was going to be so good this season. How's that working out, Ron?
Yeah, not very well.
Not very well. So this is
He's
what I'm
been
saying.
horrible.
That's what I'm saying. Some of these guys just aren't playing.
No, they're not. McAvoy has been terrible. Terrible. Lodi has made some mistakes too. I'm not leaving him out of it, but he's a kid. He's got to learn, right? What's the other guys' excuses that have been there for many years? There's no excuse. Nobody's covering anybody. The wingers aren't coming in to help out. They're just flying by, a little a skate by and not even putting the effort in. Pasternak keeps turning the puck over in a horrible place. When they cross the blue line, he turns it over, then they're off and running. I mean, it's just mistake after mistake after mistake that with a team that is supposed to be defensively strong, and they are stinking.
You don't get
penalties.
You don't get this kind of analysis from anywhere else. They be stinking.
It's horrible. They're not doing anything well. And the one thing they had going was the fourth line. So what does he decide to do?
Make some changes.
Split the fourth line up and
sense.
spread it around, right?
Makes sense.
And now everybody stinks now.
Yeah.
Now they don't have any good lines.
Yep. Yeah, listen. Montgomery's gone, but after that, you got to start looking at some of these players. Ron.
Where's Mike Keenan?
That brings us into our pick and roll.
It's time for Pick and Roll.
Tonight's pick and roll, episode 44,
Including
season
hit.
4, Dodging History. We decided to go with some goaltenders that had a 44-win season, and that would be Andrei Vasilevsky. Why I messed that. I knew I wasn't going to. Vasilevsky, Connor Hellebuck, Carey Price, Evgeny Nabokov, Bernie Parent, and Terry Sawchuk. And we've got to rank them from 6 to 1.
It's Bernie Parent.
I you know what? I was going to think that too. I said it, because I was thinking French, but the French didn't come out.
No, Parent.
Parent. All right, my friend, you are first this week, so you're pick and roll.
Yeah, this is a little weird one right here.
It is.
It was tough, and I was actually surprised at Evgeny Nabokov's numbers, to be honest with you.
Agreed. Yes.
If he did not do this quietly, I don't know. I mean, I remember him for sure, but I didn't think he had 353 wins. But he still planted at number 6. I put him there with his 353 wins, 227 losses, 86 ties, 59 shutouts, which was second on this list. 2.44 goals against average, which was first on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure. His 9/11 save percentage, was 5th on the list. And he only went to one All-Star game, and he won a Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
But that is all he's won. So I put him at number 6. But I would take him as a goaltender to back up Swayman right now. Number 5, Connor Hellebuck. Can't believe I put him at number 5. 282 wins, 174 losses, 41 ties, 38 shutouts, 2.62 was the worst on the list, which isn't so bad. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
His .917 save percentage was tied with Price and Vasilevsky. 2 Vezinas, 3 All-Stars, and a Jennings, no cups. But I only had him at number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, I have Carey Price. 361 wins and on a Montreal Canadian team. That is pretty damn good. That's really bad. 261 losses, 79 ties, 49 shutouts, 2.51 goals against average, 917 save percentage, 1 Vezina, 1 All-Star, 1 Jennings, 1 Pearson, and 1 Hart Trophy for MVP. So that gave him the lead of the guys that did not win a Stanley Cup. He got the Canadians to a Stanley Cup, which is almost like winning, to be honest with you, because that team was bad. And they got run out of the building in the Stanley Cup Finals. Number 3, Andrei Vasilevsky. 299 wins, 146 losses, 30 ties, 35 shutouts, 2.56 goals against average, was the worst of the final 3. 917 save percentage, which tied for the lead. 2 cups, 1 Vezina, 1 All-Star, 2 All-Stars, 1 Conn Smythe Trophy for playoff MVP. That's it. Number 2 is Bernie Parent. 271 wins, 198 losses, 54 ties, 54 shutouts. I gave him the
119 ties.
119 ties?
Yeah.
Well, the numbers I got were wrong.
54 shutouts, though, we're right. I think you just...
Oh, that's why I put the 54 there, and then I realized I didn't put the 54, then put it in.
It's okay. We'll figure it out.
So 2.55 goals against average, very slightly better than Vasilevsky's, but 915, very slightly less than Vasilevsky's save percentage, but still resulted in 2 cups. But he had 2 Vezinas, 2 All-Stars, 2 Conn Smythe trophies, and he's in the Hall of Fame. You might think that these other guys are going to be there because they had better. Some of them had better numbers, but the 2 Conn Smythes gave him the nod over Vasilevsky. Then number 1, 445 wins, 336 losses, and a massive 171 ties, with 103 shutouts. Most of those ties were probably nothing, by the way.
Yeah.
2.50 goals against average, a 907 save percent average, 4 Stanley Cups, 4 Vezina trophies, 7 All-Stars. He won a Rookie of the Year, and he's in the Hall of Fame. And Terry Sawchuk had to be my number one.
Outstanding. Just breaking news. New York Yankees back in the World Series next year because Luke Weaver just signed $2.5 million. Done. Consider it done. Anyway, all right. They're back. They're back, baby. All right.
Yeah, with Luke Weaver.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I little different but similar, if that makes sense. At 6, I had Hellebuck. And even though you said it right, you said all the numbers, I liked it, but again, no cup. Carey Price, I put at 5, and then I put a Evgeny Nabokov. I put him 4th, and it's the reason why, because of the goals against at 2.44 was the best out of this group. So I really liked that, and his 353 wins were far more than Hellebuck. So I put him ahead of them.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But after that, we had it exactly the same. Vasilevsky at 3. Again, Bernie Perron at number 2. And then Sawchuk's numbers were so good. I put him at number 1. But again, some of these guys, to your point, if they're not in the Hall of Fame, should be soon. Strike my memory. Carey Price, though, after that Stanley Cup, pretty much has never played again. Right? Didn't he?
Yeah, he got hurt, and
and then he had some issues with mental health, and right, he took some.
Yeah, and I understand why, because when you come back, you got to play in behind a team that is just not good, and I think that would have taken more of a toll on him mentally, and he decided, you know what, now's the time.
Yeah. No, I don't know. All right. Hey, great pick and roll though. That was a good one.
It is. That was a good one because they were all good.
It was tough. Their numbers were very similar all the way across,
Yeah.
So it was pretty good. All right, Ron, it is time for predictions. Rough week last week. Guess who picked the NASCAR winner last week? This guy, which gave me 2 W's. So 6-4 last week. Ron at 3-6. James with the big 0-3, so he is now under 500. Kenny 4-5, and Chakra, who joined in last week, 5-3. He's having the few times he has picked, 16-8, very good win percentage.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
If you're live as we're calling these games, you have every right. Let us know who you pick, and we'll get your name on the chart as well.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people watching, Eric. They just need to start typing.
Yeah, we're only 8 weeks left. 8 weeks, Ron. The season's done. We go to season 5.
I'm looking pretty grim right now.
Yeah, it's not looking good for you, my friend. Not looking good. But you never know. Hey, there's still time. All right, Ron. So we start off with the NBA on the 4th. You have the New York Knicks at the Houston Rockets.
That's a tough one. I'm going to go Knicks.
All right. I seem to agree with you. I went Knicks as well. I think the Rockets, though, listen, young team, very up-and-coming team. But I just think the Knicks have a lot more talent. So,
yeah.
All right. Also, in the NBA on the 6th, you have the Oklahoma City Thunder at the Denver Nuggets. I went OKC here.
Yeah, I'm going Denver in this one. Look, I don't think a team is going to go undefeated, but
agreed.
They're really good, but I think playing at Denver is going to be a tough game for them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Joker, and hopefully that he can help me get a game closer to you.
Okay. NFL action on the 3rd. We've got the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers.
I'm going Detroit, even though I want Green Bay to win. I just think Detroit is right now firing on all cylinders.
Agreed.
And it seems like they might have like 10 to 15 cylinders at this moment.
I really wanted Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson would have been the right hire for the Patriots because that offense is just incredible. And I went Detroit as well. I just think that, listen, as good as Green Bay's, they haven't dominated. Detroit's dominated teams. So also on the third round, you got the Denver Broncos at the Baltimore Ravens. As much as I want to believe in this Broncos team, phenomenal defense, I went the Ravens.
Yeah, I look. There's no way Baltimore can come back and lay another egg. I mean, what they did against Cleveland was just abysmal. And if they have another game like that, there's going to start being some questions, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be coming out, and they are going to be determined to win this game.
All right.
It's not. I think it's going to be lopsided, to be honest with you.
It may be. Tomorrow you've got in the NHL the Dallas Stars at the Florida Panthers.
I'm going to take Dallas.
This might be a Stanley Cup preview.
It might be. I'm going to take Dallas in this. I just like this team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good team, and it's like you don't really hear the household names. I mean, Ottinger is the guy that people focus on more, but there's a lot of talent on that team. There's a lot of skill, and I think they're going to have a great year. They could possibly take the President's Trophy this year. I think they're that good. Okay. So I'm going Dallas.
All right.
In a meaningless game.
I like it. I went Panthers here. I went Panthers. They have been still consistent throughout after winning the Stanley Cup. So again, top team, one of the top teams, and they continue to play well. So I went Panthers here at home. 11-3. You have the Tampa Bay Lightning at the Winnipeg Jets. Jets lost last week, so they're no longer undefeated. But I'm going Winnipeg here at home.
Yeah, I went Winnipeg as well, Eric. I just think Tampa Bay has lost a lot of its, star power for Stanley Cup play. And when you lose that edge over a team, it starts to balance things out. And frankly, I think Winnipeg has more talent. So therefore, I like Winnipeg winning this. Having all that experience with like Stamkos and the rest of the players that have gone on, you'll lose that experience, and now they're just an average team.
Yeah. So again, Winnipeg. Great. Listen, they had a great run, Tampa Bay, but everything comes to an end at some point. Tomorrow, Ron, what a big college football matchup this is. Number 4, Ohio State Buckeyes at the number 3 Penn State Nittany Lions. This is obviously going to have some playoff implications here as well. So, who do you got?
Yeah, this is a tough one. Because I want Ohio to win this game. I'm just not sure that they can. I'm going to go Penn State.
Okay. All right. I went Ohio State. I went Ohio State.
Yeah, I just, Penn State at home. I mean, that's a tough ask.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, though. Listen, I don't know. I still believe the Buckeyes are a better team. I don't know. You just, every year you hear how good Ohio State is. But interesting. So that leads us to our NASCAR run on the 3rd. You got the Xfinity 500 in Martinsville. We need a top 5 driver. I went Denny Hamlin as my pick for.
Who won last week?
Tyler Reddick.
Yeah.
This guy picked it.
Yeah. I'm going to go Kyle Larson.
Okay. Kyle Larson. All right. So that is our prediction segment. We do it every single week. Again, if you are live, want to join at any point, every time we call the game, just let us know, and we will add your name to that chart. We're running out. Time's short. 2 months. Got like 2 months. Season's over. It's insane to think about, Ron.
I had a lot of oppos this week.
Crazy. 3 of them. So you might maybe you make a little ground. We'll see. All right, Ron, before we get into our final thoughts, let's tell everybody all the wonderful things that we have going on right now, starting with our Hall of Fame. So our Hall of Fame nominees, those polls will be open later on today. For auto racing, you got Darrell Waltrip, AJ Foyt, Bobby Rahal, Elaine Prost, and Terry Labonte. And for baseball, Major League Baseball, you got Reggie Jackson, Dave Parker, Dave Winfield, Ken Griffey Sr., and Roberto Clemente. Again, those polls will be open later today. Sports Unfolded Sports poll page, where you will be able to cast your vote to help induct the next inductee into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. So excited to have added Julius Erving and John McEnroe this week to the Hall of Fame as well. So that's really cool. Ron, what about people that want
who looks just like Dr.
just
J?
Exactly, your spitting image? If you would tell the wonderful people out there as well, we are looking for sponsors. How would they be able to sponsor Sports Unfolded?
That would be very simple, Eric, because all you have to really do is go to ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com, like it says right there, and we can send you out all the information you need. But, Eric, like I say every week, it's just as simple as going to your local coffee shop and getting a pumpkin spice latte, right?
Had one today, buddy. This guy right here.
You can also, can't you get like cider there or something like that?
They have like an apple crisp. Yeah.
See? And of course, my favorite is the double chocolate donuts. You know, when you have a chocolate donut and then they put the chocolate frosting on it, and it adds to the flavor. I love those. So it costs less than getting that.
Look at that.
You know?
So check it out. This email, as well as if you know anybody that wants to be a guest on Sports Unfolded, if you have some sports background, played sports, coached. Again, you can email ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. Love to get some guests on the show. We've had several guests already in the last few years and love to get some more. As well as check out the best morning show on the internet going on daily tomorrow, 9 a.m. Kenny and Ron, they do a great show. Kenny, our basketball guy, we just put out our NBA rankings, as well as each week our NFL rankings, NHL rankings coming soon as well. So check that out on the Facebook page, as well as Twitter and MeWe. So a lot of different ways there that you can follow that and comment. I will also ask that if you watch our show, like, share, and follow, right? Tell your friends about it. Make sure they watch, because we are live every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't like watching these beautiful mugs, because I hear you sometimes, you know,
beautiful mug,
prom queen over here, but I will say you can listen to us on all the audio platforms. So any of the audio platforms that you enjoy, we are on those as well. And if you'd like some Sports Unfolded merchandise, Patreon at RI Broadcasting. There is so much merchandise that you can purchase. Look at those stickers, right? Beautiful things right there. So check that out as well. So great opportunity to help support the show. Also, you could donate stars and bits if you're watching on those other platforms as well. Ron, we normally close our show out with our final thoughts. Our final thought doesn't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything happening in the world today. You are first this week, so I can't steal it. So I'd love to hear your final thought.
I got 2 of them, Eric.
Hey, there we go.
Hopefully I steal yours.
All right.
So the first thing is I'd like to congratulate the Los Angeles Dodgers on such a fine season.
Wonderful.
You know, despite you rigging the salaries and stuff like that. But you
call.
did it. You got the championship. Yeah, now you're proud of your players and, you know, your organization for such a respected win. Great job, Freddie Freeman, in the playoffs. Glad you got a lot of the credit. I feel like I'm the one that helped you out with that.
You woke up the sleeping giant. Yes, you
I
did.
did wake up the sleeping giant. So congratulations, Los Angeles Dodgers. And now it gets time for the real season, hot stove baseball. My second one is the rest in peace to Terry Garr,
Yep.
one of the stars in Mr. Mom, Young Frankenstein. She was fantastic. Unfortunately, we lost her to multiple sclerosis. She lost the battle in that. Big loss in the comedic world. So rest in peace, Terry Garr.
Did not know that. Thank you. That hits home. I do have MS as well. So, wow, that's shocking to me. Yes, rest in peace.
Hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's sad. It's really sad.
I've seen it. Christina Applegate, who's also suffering from it. You see again, listen, I've had the disease for many years now. And there's different levels. How it progresses, though it could get to a point like that. So hopefully I don't get to that point.
So
my prayers
if
up, but
people are out there, please donate to the cause to fight this.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
we
not a pretty disease.
No, and with all the things that are out there that can get you, it's just another thing that you have to worry about. So go to your local places that tend to fight it or help people with it, especially helping people, because yes, it's easy to donate to fight the disease, but not everybody helps those places that are trying to help the patients, even with just keeping up with the bills, because these are massive costs that a lot of people aren't even covered. So look at that and help those people.
Well said, Ron. Well said. I do have two as well. Thank you for those final thoughts. But my first one is the ass clown that was the New York Yankee fan that I won't even say his name.
I know who you're talking about.
Tried to rip the ball out of Mookie Betts' glove, which could have seriously injured the player. And listen,
almost hurt him.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous that fans think that's okay. That people that invested thousands of dollars to go to these games feel like that's the best thing to do. Absolutely stupid. Yes, he got banned from the World Series. I guess from what I was hearing, he was a season ticket holder. I would ban him for life because honestly, if he feels that empowered to be able to try to hurt a player, because that's basically what could have happened, could have broke his wrist. I don't think you belong in the sports arena at all. I don't feel like it fits. You're an ass clown. I hope you see this. The fact that other social media and all these other people are having these people on and trying to celebrate it is a joke as well. Because honestly, you should be, scorning this guy for what he was doing. And not put him on a pedestal.
He might have been the one to bring the karma.
Yeah, but what's the next thing, right? Maybe we just hit a guy with something to try to distract him. Is that going to be okay? Like, there's no reason for you to do what you did. Again, if you want to say the ball was in play and you thought, but you literally see him trying to rip it out of his glove.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's BS.
Yeah,
it was a BS excuse from a BS person.
Yeah, and everybody was trying to go like the Jeffrey Mayer thing way back in the day. The kid put his glove out and he didn't try to rip, like, you know what I mean? Like out of a player.
Right.
Completely different situation. So don't even try to compare the two. My second one, real quick, just a person, my grandson tomorrow, Sunday, micro football. He's playing in the playoffs, so we're really excited about.
There we go.
Right, so let's see. Let's get a win for the Falcons there, and see if we can continue this run. So I'm excited to. I'll be there Sunday to support him as well. So
awesome.
Looking forward to that.
Good
but
luck.
Ron, thank you. Yeah, we're a little nervous. I do want to thank you, Ron, for a great show. I want to thank anybody that has joined us live and watched tonight. Next week, hey, join us at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join the show. Join the chat. Let us know what you think. Again, so many different social media outlets as well. If you like what you've seen today, like, share, and follow our show. Rhode Island Broadcasting has some great shows out there, as well as following Sports Unfolded on all our social media platforms. We appreciate all the support. Want to thank all the fans out in Dallas, Georgia, WDJY 99.1 FM. You guys have been amazing. Thank you for the support there as well. Join us on a Friday night. We'd love to hear from that part of the country and see how you feel about some of your teams down there in Georgia. So let us know how you feel about that as well. And then I want to thank SCC TV, Public Access Channel 12 here in Southeast Connecticut, for putting us on there as well. Look forward to next week, Ron. We always have great shows. Season winding down. We only got about 2 months before season 5, as crazy as it sounds. In our last show of the year, we do our memoriam. There are going to be so many players. I will tell you right now, you will see tears, because there are some athletes that we lost this year that will really hit home. So tune in for that as well. We're looking for a sponsor for that as well. So if you are interested in sponsoring that just particular show, let us know. Again, Rhode Island Broadcasting, just email them. And we can definitely make sure that we get your information and see what we can do. But we will see you next Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And all we ever ask for, Ron, is that we get peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.